There are so many huge high school football games in the Houston area, and here to talk about just a few of them is our good friend, Houston area guru, Ahmard Vital. What's up, V?
What's going on, man? It's good to be on with you.
Thanks for hopping on. You are Mr. Houston. You know everything about everything when it comes to the Houston area. I'm building you up here. I don't know if you can tell. Let me ask you. What is the biggest game in the Houston area in your mind in a week where it seems like there are big games everywhere you turn?
Oh, that's a great question.
I know. Putting you on the spot.
And if we're gonna have to choose, then I'm probably gonna have to go out west out I-10 on the Rose Stadium, definitely with the Katy Cinco game. And I always say that is because really and truly, when you look at things from year to year, Katy doesn't have a lot of rivals during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for the most part, no offense to some of the programs out there, for the most part, Katy runs roughshods over most of the programs that are lined up in the district and play during the regular season, outside of maybe the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
So for that game to be the last game, it's always 11 o'clock. It always sells out. I think the Katy Cinco Ranch game is probably going to be the biggest game of this weekend as far as that's concerned.
You certainly cannot go wrong. Let's focus on that game for a moment. Katy has looked like a wrecking machine this year, and now it seems like there may be a bit of a blemish in the armor if Kyle Porter is a little banged up. He didn't play last week, not that they needed him against Katy Tompkins. Is that a potential opening for Cinco Ranch to come in and pull what I still think would be an upset?
That's a great question to look at as well. But we always have to remember that Katy has never been a one-man show, even though there's always been, that one talented guy and a lot of secondary parts, as you might say, and not because they're any less talented, usually because they're younger and they're kind of not really waiting their turn, but they're, kind of next in line kind of situations. And I think right now what you're seeing is you're seeing a situation with Katy, much like I saw with them back when Adam Taylor was a junior and Rodney Anderson was a freshman. Adam Taylor had gotten hurt right before the season started. And I remember going into the Ailey Taylor game, there was a young freshman running back named Rodney Anderson. Nobody had known who he was outside of West Houston. He came in and did his thing. That's what's going on right now in Katy. Obviously, there's a high ankle sprain for Kyle Porter. That is something we want to watch going forward. But they got another kid, his name is DeAndre. I know his last name is Glass. Freshman kid. Heard about him before the season started. Supposed to be very solid. And it's going to be kind of the next coming as you see that next young back come through there. And I think, between him and Kadarius Page, I think Katy will be okay, at least through the regular season. Now, playoffs is a whole other scenario, but I think right now, Katy should be fine to work out against Cinco Ranch.
He is Ahmard Vital, joining us on DCTF Live. Follow him on Twitter at Ahmard Vital. There's an R in there, that always throws me, man. I gotta admit. Other Houston games in the area that would be far and away the best game in the area if it were any other week. Manville and Pearland. A battle of state-ranked squads, powerhouses. Manville with that one loss to Spring Westfield, which seems like eons ago. Pearland has been cruising along. What do you make of this one in what seems like a real clash of titans for the district title?
I do like it as a clash, and you're looking at two teams that know they're good. And I say that because, as you know, I'm big on the mind, and I love the way the mindset of different teams come in. And you're looking at two teams that kind of know their place in the hierarchy of Texas high school football. They're both state ranked. They both have had state appearances. Obviously, Pearland has had a few more state appearances, but it's been a school that's been around a lot longer. So you're looking at two heavyweights coming into this. I like where both of them are coming. Obviously, Pearland is 9-0, and you said Manville had that first loss in the opening week against Westfield, another heavyweight in the situation as well. But I really like where this could go. Obviously, you're looking at more of kind of a high-flying offense from Manville. De'Aaron King is playing, once again, some great ball. And I would say probably the next person who's playing as solid, at least on the offensive side, is Devon Penniman, who's headed to Ole Miss. I like where how he's running the ball these days. He's averaging about 13.5, 14 yards a carry and 11 touchdowns, and in the offense where, you're throwing the ball all around everywhere and they're spreading that ball around. King is spreading the ball around all over the place. And just, looking at it from their standpoint, playing a lot of good ball. But, when you look at a team like Pearland is always something, even when we're not even sure what Pearland is. And that's when you know that the team has a true identity. Tony Heath has built that program to where every year that's not a program you can count out on any given year. And that is going to be a game where even the best of predictions can completely go wrong.
The defense for Pearland always keeps them in the game. We talked with Tony Heath a couple of, last week, and that is a guy who exactly what he instills in his kids from day one. It is, we are going to play physical defense, and we're going to run the ball. And it seems like this is kind of a vintage Pearland team.
Oh, without question. Like you said, he's just big on the mind as well. He's message is always the plus one. Who's going to do that? Who's going to do that one more action, that one more move, that one more thing that's going to help us go over the top? That one more thing is what helped them get that overtime win early on against in-town rival Dawson. Ever since then, the team's been rolling along and being able to make those plays. Strong defense, U of H junior linebacker commit Derek Parrish is playing some great ball right now. He's been lighting it up, as well as Cordell Caldwell on the defensive back end. But those guys play that tough defense. They run the ball, and you got your quarterback Connor Blumrick in there, big 6 foot. I think he's listed at 6'7". I don't know. I stood next to him and he was like a giant. But he's playing some good ball, distributing the ball well, kind of a newcomer, still trying to make a name for himself, but he's perfect for that offense that has the identity, no different from a team like the Seattle Seahawks. And even now, the way the Denver Broncos are playing at the NFL level. Let's play good defense. Let's be hard. Let's be physical. Let's limit mistakes. And we're going to come out with a win in this thing if we can continue to do those types of things.
He is Ahmard Vital. He is a best-selling author as well. Check out all of his fine works. He's a keynote speaker. He's kind of a jack of all trades. One more game I got to ask you about. A game that it seems like in the past few years has really developed into a fun, hard-fought rivalry. Crosby and Houston C.E. King gunning for the district title in this one. No actual playoff implications on the line. They've both locked up where they're going to go. They're going to different divisions. But there's a lot of pride in this game. There's a lot of dare I say, trash talk going on in this game. This is a fun matchup whenever these two hook up.
Definitely, and this matchup goes far beyond recent years. I remember this somewhat of a rivalry even back even during the 90s when we used to play each of these teams when I was in school. Back when there was still a Class 4A, there was actually 4A and 5A, and of course now we've added since then. But yeah, you're looking at some heavyweights here in the lower division, and these are the types of teams that can play at the higher divisions because they have the moxie, they have the weapons to be able to do that. Crosby playing some great ball. Cotton has led those guys along the way and doing some good work. Has good receivers and Manny Everly and Shane Hudson, and there's another team that prides itself on playing some defense as well. I mean, they're just not all line them up and throw it all around a lot. They're more like the Ohio State of high school ball from the standpoint of how they construct the team and different things like that. Not so much the result, even though I'm sure they would like the similar results of what Ohio State had last year. But, and then you look over on the other side with Trey Williams, just running like a madman this year. I think he's got almost, over almost 1,200 yards and 20 touchdowns so far this year. Running the football. He's headed over to TCU, and Jonathan Brandley's still a guy coming up in the ranks as well. So this is one of those kind of in town kind of 5A. It's a lot of bragging rights, like you said. It's a lot of trash talk, and of course we have social media to thank for that beautiful way of sending a message to your crosstown friend that we're better than you, and but we know that Twitter's not where games are won. The one on Friday nights, usually at 7 o'clock or 7:30, depending on where you are. And you know, the social media side of it is just noise. It's just smoke, and it means absolutely nothing. Who's going to lower the boom on the other team and be able to come out and make the plays needed to come out with a win?
He is Ahmard Vital. Check out his fine work at ahmardvital.com. That's AHMARDVITAL.com. And you can actually buy his book, Awaken the Baller Within. Have you read that, Max?
It's on my list.
It's a good read, man.
I've heard good things.
It'll get you fired up.
Okay.
It'll get you fired up.
I'm gonna need that working with you every day.
Yeah, you will. You'll need some inspiration. Ahmad, appreciate you hopping on with us, bud.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank you all for having me.
There he goes. Ahmard Vital, our Houston area guru.